one of y'all had the caucasity to come into my comments and say some shit like, oh, if nothing happens after all this, we're all gonna be embarrassed and have egg on our faces. I'm sorry. If we're wrong about what we're talking about, that's gonna be the embarrassing thing? That's the thing that's gonna be embarrassing? Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Because we just had half of France laughing at Orange Diaper Man and his stench at Notre Dame. Was it the UN or which international league of leaders made a point to all dump on how stupid they think this country is for putting a criminal in charge of everything? They are laughing at the nation, okay? The whole world is. But sure, if we turn out to be wrong, that's gonna be the most embarrassing thing we can think of. Oh my God, like some of y'all, I swear. And yes, I understand that some of y'all don't do well with subtlety, or you haven't been following this whole time like we have, so therefore you don't understand why some of us are getting more excited, and that's okay. However, we cannot break it down for you in the comments. We've been following this since the thing happened. So if you hop in now trying to understand what we're talking about, you won't. You want to hop in on a playlist, or I have a podcast, you can go to someone else's podcast. I don't care, but we cannot break it down for you in the comments. The reason a lot of y'all have issues with subtlety and thinking outside of the box or understanding things outside of precedence is because America did a good job with you, okay? The job of America is to train you not to think for yourself and to just consume whatever's put in front of you at face value and to believe that to the death and to argue with anyone who disagrees with what was shoved in their face. So when you meet people who don't think like that, it makes the wires start to fuzz and you get upset, and then you hop into my comments to be an agent of despair and tell everyone they just need to give up and stop it. It's making your head hurt and you can't take it. We don't want to hear it, especially since there is an entire population in this country right now who still get to talk loudly and proudly about what they think they lost in 20, okay? They're still allowed to talk about that, but we aren't allowed to mention anything about this right here. You want to know why? Because that dude has spent the last 40 years building relationships with all of the media. Okay, since the 80s, he's been leaking stories to the tabloids about himself to make himself look better. Flash forward to 2024, and Morning Joe Dude said it himself. All of the outlets are running their shit by the campaign, or the campaign is telling them what to do. And if they give a story or a comment that the team doesn't like, they get fussed at, all right? They control the media. Very Schmittlery, and since that's his idol, it all makes sense. You know, after that Time thing was announced, I went back and saw, oh, one of his friends bought it in 2018. Interesting. And then I remembered, y'all were saying that photo of Ruski colors being put over the White House was from 2017. And in that video, I was like, that doesn't make it better. That just means it was obvious to the world what he was doing back in 2017. But now I'm realizing Time Magazine put that out there, and what do you know? A year later, one of his buddies buys it and makes sure he goes on the cover of it, you know? It's why throughout this whole cycle, some of y'all swore she didn't have any policies and you couldn't find them. They were published. They were right there in front of everyone. The problem was the media kept telling you it didn't exist, and the Dumpty team kept telling you it didn't exist, and rather than check for yourself, you just believed it didn't exist, and that's why you're a problem. You don't have to believe, you don't have to have faith, you don't have to hope. But what you also don't have to do is spread your bullshit in my comment section. You want to be an agent of despair, that is fine. Cry to yourself, cry in your own video, go in someone else's comments who agrees with you, and you guys can roll in despair together. But you don't come over here to try to tell people to be depressed like you, and upset like you, and to give up like you. Like, what is wrong with you? Why do you want to spread that to people? Honestly, it's like I said about the creators who flippity-flopped within 24 hours and was mad at anyone who dared to question anything, which is, if you had any questions about how certain things happened in, like, Germany, per se, who could do that? I would never do that. If right now you are one of the people trying to drag other folks down into despair with you and to give up and let it happen, then I hate to tell you, but you are one of those people. You are one of the people who would have been turning in your friends and family and neighbors to the regime because that's the rules now and that's just what you're supposed to do, and you're just doing what you're told because you just want to get through this and keep your head down. Some of y'all were so busy trying to steal the term woke and turn it into something bad that you didn't realize you're in a fucking coma and you could use a few drippity drops of woke to wake your ass up and start paying attention and stop just taking what's being fed to you in the tube because you're in a coma. Do you follow? That's exactly why certain politicians keep telling you, you don't want to be woke. Stay asleep. Let us feed you through the tube. And yes, if we are wrong, then like we keep saying, plan B is we are hitting the streets. So this thing where you want everyone to just cuddle up at home with you in despair is not happening either way. So you're in the wrong place. And I don't know if I said it in the beginning, but I'll say it again right now. If I see it, I don't care if we follow each other, if we're friends, I'm deleting it at best. And if I see it repeatedly, then the account's being blocked. I'm not sorry. If we wanted to be depressed, we could just watch legacy lamestream media with you and get depressed. But I'll let you in on a little secret. That's exactly what the fuck it's trying to do. Okay? They want you depressed and ready to quit. That's the whole point. Then you're easy to control. I have to like pre-chew everything and just bird feed it.